Okay, let's talk about Italian tennis, because right now, it is absolutely on fire. Jannik Sinner is the world #1, they're just dominating team events, and it feels like new, exciting talent is popping up constantly. But here's the thing, just a decade ago, this was kinda unthinkable. So how did Italy go from a country with, sporadic success to a global tennis powerhouse, seemingly overnight? Well, the answer is an incredible story of vision, strategy, and a plan that was a decade in the making.
This quote from veteran Italian journalist Ubaldo Scanata, it just says it all, doesn't it? We are now particularly spoiled. After decades covering the sport, he's just never seen anything like this. This isn't just a good run of form. This is a true golden age, and you can feel that energy everywhere, from the very top of the sport all the way down to the fans at home. And what's really incredible is the sheer depth of this success. This is not about one superstar carrying the flag. Of course, you've got Sinner at the top, but look at this. 9 men in the top 100, back-to-back Davis Cup titles, and on the women's side, Jasmine Paolini making these amazing runs in the Grand Slams. This is a complete, system-wide phenomenon.
So you got to ask the question, right? Was this just a stroke of luck? Did a golden generation of talent just happen to emerge all at once? Well, as you can probably guess, the real answer is a lot more complex and a whole lot more deliberate than that.
I mean, just take a quick look at the history books. It shows you just how different today is. For nearly 50 years in the Open era, major singles titles for Italy were, well, they were rare events, decades apart. You had Panatta way back in '76, then this huge gap until Schiavone and Panetta came along. It really puts this current explosion of talent into perspective.
So what changed? The answer is that this was no accident at all. What we're seeing play out today is the result of a deliberate master plan put into motion about 10 years ago by the Italian Tennis and Padel Federation, the FITP. It was a complete top-to-bottom overhaul of how they even thought about developing players.
And the insiders, the people in the know, they have a name for this new system. They call it the tennis machine. And that's not just about finding 1 or 2 star players. It's about creating a whole system, from the ground up, that's designed to consistently produce high-level talent for years and years to come.
So how is this machine actually built? Well, here it is. It's a complete player pipeline designed to guide a talented kid from the grassroots level all the way to the elite national centers. It starts in schools, it moves up through regional hubs, and it culminates with specialized support for the very best. Every single step is connected.
Now pay attention, because this is arguably the most important change they made. The old way of doing things was to spot a few promising kids and basically force them to move to a central training facility. The new system? Totally decentralized. The Federation now supports the best players and their private coaches, giving them resources like doctors, nutritionists, and strategists without ripping them away from the teams that got them there in the first place.
We can really break this whole master plan down into 4 key pillars. First, they got all the coaches on the same page by unifying their education with player development. Second, like we just said, they support the private teams. Third, they started hosting a ton of tournaments. And fourth, they built a media arm to promote the sport like crazy.
And this was no short-term fix. As strategy coach Craig O'Shaughnessy, who's worked with the Italian Federation since 2016, puts it, this success we see today was a vision a decade in the making. So to really see how this all works in the real world, let's follow the journey of a player who grew up inside this very system.
Let's talk about Lorenzo Musetti. His entire career path, from being a top junior to a top 10 pro, an Olympic medalist, and a Davis Cup champion, it's all unfolded within this new system. He's the perfect example of a player who has benefited from every single level of this development pipeline. Then you have the coaching revolution. The Federation brought in international experts like O'Shaughnessy, who introduced data analytics to shape strategy. So what does that mean? It means they moved away from a one-size-fits-all, cookie-cutter approach and instead started creating unique drills and game plans for each individual player's strengths and weaknesses.
Now for a number that really changes everything. 148. This is a massive piece of the puzzle. By hosting 148 international tournaments, Italy gives its young players a huge advantage. They get crucial experience, they get ranking points, all without the crazy financial cost of constant international travel. That's a luxury that players from so many other countries just don't have.
And the final and frankly brilliant piece of the machine is the media. The Federation runs its own free TV channel, Super Tennis. By broadcasting major tournaments to every single household, they've made tennis incredibly visible, super accessible. And this creates this powerful feedback loop. Success on the court creates stars, the channel makes them household names, and that inspires the next generation to pick up a racket. It's a perfect cycle.
And as Oshinazi points out, the goal here is sustainability. This machine is built to last. It's not just about capitalizing on a hot streak. The whole system is designed to manage the natural ups and downs of sport and to make sure that Italian tennis stays a force for the long haul.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating final thought. Italy has created this blueprint that blends decentralized support with centralized expertise and some really smart promotion. It makes you wonder, is this holistic, machine-like approach the future for developing elite talent, not just in tennis, but maybe across all sports? It's something to think about.